Hello everyone. So my name is Rodrigo, as she said, and it's a pleasure for me to be here this afternoon. I've been here before, I think about 3 or 4 times, and I'm very happy to be here. I've been working at Cultura Inglesa for 12 years now, but it's because I started when I was 10, okay? Because I'm 22 now, okay? So I've been working at Cultura Inglesa for 12 years. I've been a teacher, a coach, a mentor, and I've been in the academic department as an academic coordinator for 2 years now, 2 years something. I'm a CELTA tutor and also a CELT P, CELT S tutor. And this afternoon I'm here to talk about teaching young learners, okay? And the question is, a whole new world, okay? Yes or no, all right? Who teaches young learners here? Okay. That's going to be my first question when we start the presentation, okay? So just before we start, I'd like to know your names, if possible, because then, I mean, there's few of us here, we can, get to know each other a little bit better, yeah? From
Up to you, idiomas.
Okay, thank you.
Maristela, up to you, idiomas.
Good.
Olivia, no school.
Okay.
I'm Ana. I teach in Campinas. The school is called Tigrinhos and Golden Tigers.
Okay, good.
Priscila, no school.
All right.
Carla, private school.
Okay.
I'm Fernanda. I used to work at Cultura for quite a long time as well.
Ah, good.
And now I'm at CCA.
All right, good. And? Ah, nice, cool. All right. So, this afternoon then we're going to be talking about young learners, okay? And for us to get started, I have some questions I'd like you to discuss with the person next to you, okay? And these questions are going to be the springboard for the whole presentation, all right? For the whole talk we're going to have. So the first question is, who are the young learners? So when we say young learners, what do we mean by that? That's the first question. Why do young learners learn English? What are the characteristics of young learners? What knowledge and skills should young learner teachers have and or develop? And how can teachers further their career and get qualified to teach young learners? All right? 2-3 minutes with the person next to you. Can you share your ideas, please? Thank you. Yeah.
When you think of young learners, I think that you're not talking about babies, because sometimes some schools accept kids young to 5, we're not ready.
So, young learners, we're talking about teaching them. So, who are young learners? What kind of students do you consider as young learners?
Elementary school. But they are not so young, or they are older
Than children.
Yeah, than children, yes.
And why do they learn English? Well, mostly I think because parents.
Parents.
But I think because they are interested.
Yeah, because they want to be connected.
Connected, yes, with the movies, with the songs, with the
They are more
fashion.
They're global.
Global.
For parents, parents put the young learners to study English because of the future. Because they need to learn English. It's one of the reasons I
Enjoy the future.
Something more. So
It's also
What the parents think.
yes.
They think about that, and the
Parents look for that.
Yeah, they think about to be connected.
And even if they are doctors or dentists, normally they travel a lot.
They do.
Because they have seminars.
Yeah,
Learn
they get
something
tired,
more.
but they're different. We can, it's part of motivate them. They're very interested. What is
Yeah.
activists?
Sometimes
They're
they're
full of
boring.
energy.
Boring.
Boring and bored.
They're very on
They get bored with
Is that it?
and there's a
I think we have to guide them because they do have a lot of energy, but we have to point them to
yeah.
Oh.
They have their emotions are very strong, aren't they?
Very strong, yes.
Knowledge and skill should have.
But they are very curious. They're not just
They
characters.
are.
They are curious.
They know things. They're very connected.
They think they know everything.
Yes, especially nowadays.
Claro, fica à vontade.
With the internet and everything now. Oh, yes.
So the teachers, they should, I think they should be, yes, what are the knowledge and skill they should have. Teachers always have, and they need to be, well, they need to understand this culture,
Imagina.
all the environment of the vocabulary.
Yes.
Tem netos,
Love to teach teenagers. Love.
Exactly, yes.
They love. They want only teenagers.
I thought
And there are teachers that want to teach the children.
exactly.
I want to teach the others teenagers. I enjoy teaching because they're baby. Yes.
All right, shall we open? Yeah? Okay, so, all right, so I think you guys were mentioning some very interesting points related to this, okay? And the first one is, who are the young learners?
In general, I can say that learners, maybe between 13 and 18, very general, very.
Those are the teenagers, and the young learners would come a bit before that, so...
Yes, 11, 10, 11.
Exactly, absolutely. So based on literature, we have children from the age of 6 to 12. Before the age of 6, that's what we call very young learners, like 3, 4, 5. From 6 to 12, young learners. And as of 13, teenagers. All right? So from the age of 6 until the beginning of puberty, that's young learners. All right? So here, this afternoon, we're going to be talking about children from the age of 6 to the age of 12. Exactly. They're considered young learners. All right? Then, and why do they learn English? Some of the things you guys mentioned were because of the educational system, so that's part of the curriculum, and then they have to learn English. All of you mentioned because of parents, okay? So parents want their children to learn English. And then we have this either because of the social benefits or because of the economic benefits, because of their career in the future, because of the status that this gives, or because of the social mobility as well. So because of parents want their children to learn English. But from the children's perspective, that's not the point, is it? Children are learning English because of the fun. It's good to go to school to play games, to be with the others, to have fun with the teacher, isn't it? And also because of their affective needs. As some of you were mentioning, because they need to feel connected to each other, to have this sense of belonging and the sense of significance. So they feel that they are there, they belong to that place, they can establish relationships with the others, with their peers, with the teacher. It's fun, it's engaging. So there is this whole side which is more effective, and from the learner's perspective, this might be the main reason why they learn English. However, from the parent's perspective, it's not quite that, right? It's related to the gain they're gonna have in the long term. All right? So far, so good. Exactly. Okay? Is it important for the teacher to be aware of this?
Yes.
We need to be aware of the stakeholders involved. Sometimes there are things related to the curriculum and the policies which have to be taken into consideration. But also, we are teaching the children. So we can't overlook all those things, but we have to be aware of this to ensure that the lesson is effective and responsive to the needs of the children. Does make sense? Yeah? All right. Then, what are the characteristics of young learners then? Okay, so there are certain characteristics. Hello there. That's all right. That's okay, that's all right. Take your time. It's okay, welcome. What's your name?
Patricia.
Patricia, my name is Rodrigo.
Nice
Okay?
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So please take your time, okay? All right. So the characteristics of young learners, all right? We're going to take a look at some characteristics which are really important for us as teachers if we want to design a course, to deliver lessons that are responsive to their needs and lessons that will actually help the children, okay? And I have some of the characteristics here. Okay? Experiential learning, attention, active learning, phrase-based learning, interaction, language ego, motivation, and self-monitoring, based on Richards 2015. Okay? What I'd like you guys to do is this. Could you please take a picture of these characteristics? Because you're going to play, kind of game. All right? We're gonna see in a minute.
Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. So you can work together in pairs, trios, what have you. Okay, the way you prefer. I'm gonna show a definition, and then you have to decide from the list you have here which characteristic is being described. All right. So the first one is. Okay? With the person next to you, from the list you have there, which characteristic is being described, do you think?
My cell phone is very bad.
That's all right. Can I ask one of you to share the picture with them or to work together? Yeah? Thank you. Thank you. So which one do you think? Which one? Starts with an M. M-O-T. Aye. So motivation, okay? So what's important in terms of motivation when it comes to young learners? That what's gonna motivate them is not longer term goals. Remember that for parents, it's more related to what they're gonna get in the future, their career prospects, the social benefits, but for children, it's much more related to the accomplishment of tasks and activities they do in the classroom. So it's in the here and now. It's something more tangible. It's something more present. So if I want to motivate the children I teach, it has to be by providing tasks and activities that are really engaging and motivating. Does make sense? They won't perceive, this is important because in the future you're gonna do this and this. Because when you travel, no, that's not how they work. Okay? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Second one. We have a list of... That's all right. That's all right. We have a list of characteristics of young learners, and I have the definition, and then we're matching the definition with the characteristics, okay? If you want to work with them here, all right? Or with them there, up to you. But make yourself comfortable. Up to you, yeah. Good, that's all right, yeah, thank you. Okay, which one? No? Huh? Yes, attention, okay? So, in terms of attention, can young learners remain focused on things for a long time? No, because they have very short attention spans. And they're gonna be focused and they're gonna remain on task provided that it's something interesting. Something that catches their attention and interest, and it's around them. So activities and tasks that are enjoyable and challenging at the same time. It can't be boring, like easy. No, it has to be challenging, but enjoyable. Fun. Remember the element of fun we mentioned before, okay? So in terms of attention, as a teacher, I'm gonna design an activity, a course. I have to take this into consideration. They can't remain focused on things for a long time. There needs to be a balance. Does it make sense? Next. Which one?
Experimental learning.
Yeah, easy peasy this one, isn't it? So, experiential learning, okay? This is really important because young learners are not likely to learn by memorizing rules, by getting explanations and understanding how the language works. It's not about that. But it's about doing things. It's about having the experience of using the language in a context that's fun, enjoyable, and here. Does it make sense? Next. That's the one you asked about, remember?
Huh?
The one you asked about at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Which one? Exactly, okay? So the teaching of young learners is related to teaching chunks of language, whole phrases. It's not about teaching like isolated items or grammatical items. They don't need to understand the rules and patterns and stuff. They need to understand, they need to use language, and this language is usually presented and practiced in chunks, not just one word, but a combination of words or whole phrases. Okay? So you know those stories, we're telling a story and there are certain repeated phrases throughout the story. And you know, by the third page, they start telling the story together. They start repeating those chunks of language together because they have already memorized. They know the context, they know the meaning, but they don't really need to know how the language is structured or the grammar or the pattern or things like that. They just know that that's, you know, that chunk can be used in this situation to convey this meaning. Does it make sense? Yeah? So especially in storytelling and songs, they memorize and repeat the whole chunk, the whole phrase. They know the meaning, they know the context, they don't need to know the rules, you know, and how the language is formed, for instance. Is that okay? Good. Next. All right. Which one?
Language ego.
Do you all agree? Exactly. So that's the language ego. Okay. If you are teaching a group of adults, and then you ask them to do, you know, some pair work or something, how do they usually feel, adults, if they have to expose themselves?
Shy.
Exactly, they're afraid of making mistakes, yeah, because of this language ego every learner would have, okay? Children, on the other hand, they're not afraid. They're not afraid of making mistakes. They're willing to try out new things. They're willing to take risks. Because everything for them, depending on how you design the task, how you propose the activity, how the environment is, everything for them is like, a moment of having fun. And they're going to try out new things and do new things and, take risks because of this characteristic. Differently from older learners, they're not inhibited when it comes to sharing something or doing new things, okay?
They want to be exposed.
Exactly. And they don't shy away from doing those things. They're to learn and to do things, okay? Next.
Yes, I will. Active learning.
Which one?
Active learning.
Do you all agree? Yeah? Yeah?
Singing, manipulating.
Exactly. Okay? So learning, for young learners, learning should be active, okay? So listening to stories, playing games, singing songs, manipulating objects and playing with toys. So as a teacher, it's not about explaining the language, giving lists of exercises and things like that, but it's about designing exercises and tasks and activities that cater for characteristics like this, for their needs, okay? They need to be active. They need to be taking part in the process and doing things. All right?
And then writing.
Exactly. And the older they are, the more writing you can introduce. The younger they are, the greater the focus on listening and speaking only. But absolutely, first orally and then in writing. Yeah, good. All right? I think it's the last one. Which one now? I think you are on the right track.
Yes.
Exactly. So, exactly. As a teacher of young learners, it's really important to provide opportunities for interaction, okay? Because they learn the language through using the language in context. It's not about understanding abstract rules and stuff like that, but it's about using the language to communicate. There is a communicative purpose in what they're doing, all right? And then they need to see results here and now. So I'm using the language to play a game, I'm using the language to sing a song, I'm using the language as part of a storytelling moment, I'm using the language because I'm creating a puppet or something like that. Does it make sense? So for children, it has to be concrete and it has to be now. There needs to be some sort of relevance in the here and now. Of course, this applies to teenagers as well, and in terms of relevance, in terms of meaningfulness, in terms of applicability, in terms of doing things that are actually meaningful for them. It also applies to adults, okay? But here we are focusing on the characteristics that children have, that's really important for them, and as a teacher I should be aware of in order to respond to these needs. Does it make sense? Yeah? Alright. There is another one, I'm sorry. Which one? I guess we're right once again. So which one? Yeah, do you agree? So confidently. Which one?
Self-monitoring.
Wow, Jesus. Okay, confidently, everybody. There you go, okay? So, if you think about adults, okay? Adults can, thank you, bye-bye. Adults, they can organize themselves, apply study strategies, and in terms of learning resources, they have many things available and ready to be used, and they can draw on those things. Children, they don't have these strategies and resources available yet. And this means that as a teacher, as a young learner teacher, I have this role of facilitating the process, of mediating the process, and helping children go further and develop. All right? So it's really important for us to understand that I am a mediator, I am a facilitator, and the children is capable of much more if there is some sort of help or intervention from the teacher, from the parent, from someone who's, as Vygotsky would say, the better other, okay? But we're going to talk about this later, all right? So far, so good. Yeah? So in terms of the characteristics, is it clear that all those characteristics we have mentioned, they are part of any children, and as a teacher I have to be aware